Right, this is most definitely the oldest game I've worked on in this channel so far. Well, apparently the lab we delivered the baby Metroid to is having some electricity problems at the very least. Though for some reason the computers are still working when the lights are mostly out. And the scientists are dead. Yeah, dead bodies around a Metroid still in a glass case. Not a good sign by any means, but then if things were going well, we wouldn't have to come around here. And while I'd be interested in learning how Samus spends her time when she isn't in a deadly situation, that's not why we came here, is it? Had a bit of recording trouble in the first attempt, but at least I didn't get far before I figured out what the problem was and fixed it to the best of my abilities.
The last Metroid.
Okay, wasn't expecting voice acting in a 2D Metroid game. That's generally something I associate with two of the Wii titles, one of which was an absolute train wreck that I'm again glad that I can't manage to find a way to get into a recordable state due to the control schemes. Well, seems Samus's memory of dealing with Mothered Brain the first time is a lot less annoying than how I remembered it, but considering how my memory seems to lose some various details, it's entirely understandable. Considering this is many people's first game in the franchise, it's a good thing they summed up the events of the previous games like this. I thought Metroids were better known for leeching energy away from other things, not generating it. So you say at the moment, but unfortunately I've seen nothing but bad things from the Metroids. Even if they might not have been meant to be a danger to everything that lives, there's just nothing other than Samus that has proven to be a solid predator against these things. Instantly after you left, huh? Did the money from the previous job even get into your account by the time this next one came up? Hell, is Samus even gonna get paid for dealing with this fresh load of crap? Or is she officially doing this because she's a good Samaritan and not because she's a mercenary who happens to get some galaxy protection level jobs? Ugh, either way, it's a fresh Metroid game, so give me a moment to figure out some of the control differences from the others that we've done so far on this channel. I swear, there's always something to throw you off from one Metroid to the next, either because it was released on a different console, or because they had some new gimmick they wanted to try out. But I suppose that's an issue with a lot of Nintendo series. Okay, the dead bodies are still here, but it looks like the Metroid baby isn't. After a whole 2 games just to get the little guy, that's got me a bit pissed. Huh, still in the case. Why can't we grab him? Okay! Quickly, right off the goddamn bat! God damn it, we don't even have missiles or even a second energy tank, and we're already fighting Ridley? This certainly screams fight we're not supposed to win at the start. Okay, that didn't last long, mostly because I didn't last long there. Part of me was expecting to be able to shoot more rapidly than that. The other probably wasn't as tense as I should have been, because I already knew how this battle would go, because most of the time, this is just how it ends for me. A very quick stomp in Ridley's favor that ends with us having to run like hell out of here with less than a quarter health. Bloody hell. This is the kind of crap you generally expect near the end of a game, not within the opening 5 minutes. To do platforming when Samus disappears on us due to taking a minor hit from the steam that doesn't even actually do any damage. Right, starting this one off with a bang. Well, that's a familiar location. The very planet we did our first mission with Samus. Guess the pirates weren't in the mood to pack their bags and set up in an entirely new location, but then it's gonna feel new enough, especially considering how my map memory works. Plus, after the explosion in the original game, they have an excuse to rearrange the underground environment by quite a bit. Though I'm afraid there is no in-universe excuse for why Samus is down to her absolute basic equipment if the mission of genocide in the Metroids happened just this bloody week, if not on the same day we dropped down here. I know, it's a case of gameplay and story segregation, since we want there to be things for Samus to find on the planet to get stronger as it goes along. It's just a little harder for me to ignore since the game's text to catch everyone up mentioned we're fresh off of Samus's second major job. Okay, so every time I shoot, we get a sound effect, but I'm not seeing all the energy balls flying to show the shot moving through the air every time. Is that an issue with the emulator, or is it just that the game itself is that much older than the Game Boy Advanced game that I already spoiled myself on? Still some smoke down here. Just how long ago did we blow up a Mother Brain's base, anyway? Yeah, that's where we blew that brain up, which made the whole base blow up. Thankfully, there's no lava here anymore. Still, you'd think that the smoke would dissipate or something after weeks, if not months, after the rather dramatic explosion. I certainly don't recall an elevator that went further down, though. Is that the exact spot we grabbed the morph ball back in the first game? As I said before, my mental map isn't quite as good as it probably should be for a two-dimensional environment. Okay, someone was scanning us with an old-looking camera. As if the new elevator wasn't enough of a sign that things aren't quite as we left them last time we were on the planet. Certainly didn't take us long to grab our first missiles, which is good because we've already seen some missile doors for us to deal with. Right, no ledge grab just yet, assuming this game ever gives you that. And of course, we need all 5 missiles just to open a single door. Nothing surprising, but it's gonna take some getting used to. Is it just me, or do those cameras remind anyone else of those eye things from Jabba the Hutt's palace? Huh, so that's everything that's down here. Sure, we got 2 missile upgrades in the Morph Ball, so that's a good amount of progress to start off with, but I can't help feeling there's probably something more down here. Ah well, there's more little holes we can slip through with the Morph Ball back up the elevator, so it's not like we've got nowhere obvious to go at the moment. Dear God! Even at the start, I'm appreciating the more simplistic level design in this game than what we ended up dealing with in the 3DS game. Well, it didn't take us long to start running into pirates, though I think these are the most fragile pirates we're ever gonna run into. Seriously, just one shot from our starting beam cannon kinda makes the more menacing music for them feel like a bit of a waste, really. Sure, they're probably gonna become more difficult when we get further into the game, but still, probably should have saved that music for when we're actually supposed to be afraid of them. Well, if nothing else, the way back up certainly feels a lot longer now that they're crawling all over the place. And if this is how high we jump without the space jump, just how much higher are we gonna go once we do have that upgrade in this game? Kinda hoping the one we shot managed to accidentally kill his buddy. Not that it really matters if they're all gonna be one-hit kills. And now the various wild animals that happen to also be threats to us start to appear. Right, can't go any further that way without bombs. Still, we've got the missile door on the other side. I think there's one more door above us that we need the Morph Ball to get to. First save room of the game. We're not gonna end it here, but at least if I somehow manage to screw up this early, we won't have to start over from the absolute beginning of the game. Okay, so we got big and small bugs. And of course, the bigger ones are more annoying to kill, which means they're gonna do a lot more damage to us than anything else we've come across so far in the game. Okay, seems we've explored everything we can over here for now. Still, despite less detail on the map, it's not as intimidating to stare at as the one from the 3DS game. Not that I can think of that game as especially bad, just say it was one of the few Metroid games that I've LP'd so far that I didn't enjoy as much as the rest. for various minor issues. Less than a second after closing the map, I decided to give it another stare. Have I mentioned that I'm never even gonna touch the original Metroid and the Game Boy game, because those two early titles didn't give the player a map to work with? It's just funny how that one small thing is such a major help for me in this genre. You can have the combat be as exciting or basic as you want, and the justification for us coming to a place could be so thin it may as well have a flashing neon sign that says, "We're just here to make some more money for the company." And while I'll be annoyed if the way from point A to point B is especially convoluted, I'll grit my teeth and go through with it, but you had better provide me with an in-game map, or I'm not jumping into those tunnels at all. Right. Too much to hope that a missile would be a decent substitute for a bomb. It's rarely the case, but it was worth a shot. As a side note, definitely appreciate that this game, unlike the 3DS game and Fusion, which I'm gonna be doing after this one, each energy tank we have is pretty durable, really. Sure, some attacks take off quite a bit of energy, but at least we aren't losing dozens of points of health just by bumping into a very basic enemy. It's amazing some of the things I appreciate in this very old game after playing nothing but entries in the series that built off of what this one provided. I certainly would prefer if we didn't go temporarily invisible when we take a hit, though. I'd rather know where Samus is at all times, not guess based on camera position. Door shut, huh? Well, that's not a good sign. Okay, so we're dealing with a hostile Chozo statue now. I swear, how many of the things that threaten Samus the most can be linked back to the bloody Chozo? Sure, they gave her the suit, training, and some genetic enhancements, but the sheer number of things they built to try to kill our heroine... Okay, I had to check online to see if it's just an issue with my emulator, and apparently this is how fast Samus shoots in this game. Guess I am spoiled by the newer Metroids, at least visually speaking. As a side note, I probably should have used the Morph Ball and maybe the bombs we just got to make that fight easier on us. Still, we walked out of that trap in one piece and with a new upgrade. That counts as a win to me. I swear, the sound effect for the gun firing makes me think we're firing a few shots at a time, not just the one that we see. Okay, now that definitely looked like we missed a frame or two there. Please don't tell me I'm gonna be bitching about minor graphical things in a game this old. Sure, it's throwing me off a bit, but this game is held as a bloody gold standard for this franchise, and with good reason. It mostly replaced the art style of the other games, made the combat something more than just mindless slugging matches, and really helped solidify what this genre of game would be like, when the previous two games maybe touched on it, but didn't quite manage to find all the right notes. Again, that would probably have a bit more of an impact if I'd actually been able to push myself through the original game and the Game Boy entry, just to show how much of a step up this was for the series. was certainly a gimme upgrade if I've ever seen one. Hell, we're just grabbing upgrades left and right, and we aren't even through the first clip of this LP. Okay, so the green ones can completely block our regular beams, but at least we have our missiles to get through their defenses, so they're still just a one-hit kill. We just need something else to hit them with. I wonder if and when we're gonna run into enemies that are outright immune to our missiles as well. Okay, more smoke in the background, and we've got a change in music tracks. Okay, I think this means we've got 4 creatures to kill before we're allowed through this particular path. We're already kind of familiar with Kraid after Zero mission, and we're more than familiar with Ridley after both Zero and the 3DS remake of Samus Returns, and he's gonna be making some more returns throughout this franchise. No explanation for how they're alive when they supposedly were killed the last time we were on this planet, and to be fair, they're fun enough bosses that I can't find it in me to care all that much that they're not dead yet. Speaking of explanations that aren't really needed but might be appreciated, what even is that glowing egg thing that just throws crap at us? Sure, it functions similarly to what I think I described as hostile pipes from Zero mission, but they look so much more creepy here. Really, my biggest gripe with the visuals seems to be that Samus keeps going on invisible stretches for some moments, and I'm not sure if that's because my video recorder is somehow missing frames where she should be there, or my emulator doesn't like certain animations so it doesn't bother with them. Hard for me to really tell, since when I was a kid, we didn't have this game on the Super Nintendo. We had the original Metroid in our games library, but apparently no one in my family felt all that interested in the series after that taste, so nobody thought to look into Super Metroid later on. Bit of a shame, but understandable at the time. Of course, if it had been the first Metroid I'd ever done, I don't think I would have known to check this wall. You do enough Metroid games and things start to feel just suspicious, so you just have to check it. Sometimes it's a dead end, sometimes it leads to something. Think I'll check the hole on the other side of this one before saving. Oh, come on. How was I supposed to react to that? He literally leapt at us from off-screen. Definitely something that the 3DS game spoiled me for. A larger radius of visibility. The camera's pretty zoomed into Samus for this game. So falling through the floor gets us an upgrade. That's certainly generous, though I severely doubt we're going to be able to make it to the other side of the hole before we get something like the speed boost. Yeah, definitely something we need the speed boost for. Have I mentioned that's my least favorite of the upgrades in the 2D games? Well, that's certainly a fine amount of progress for the first clip. Time to save and finish up for now.